Hello, and welcome to the final action of the 3-action game night. I am your host and game master for this adventure, Jason Bowman. I'm the director of game design at Paizo. And over the past, almost 3 hours, you've helped us make characters. You've given me bits and pieces for the plot of the adventure. We've woven all of that together, and now we're ready to go. And hopefully, it's fun and doesn't just implode. So, before we get started, I just want to give everybody around the table a chance to introduce what you do at Paizo. So I'm going to throw it around the table, just who you are and what you do at Paizo, and then we'll come back around and I'll start the narrative. So we'll start right here.
Hi, I'm Luis Loza. I'm a Pathfinder developer who works on the Lost Omens line.
Hello, I'm Amanda Hammond. I'm the managing developer for Starfinder, and I may or may not live under my desk on a blanket.
That's fair.
I'm Eric Keith. I'm the software QA for the website, and I try to keep the website as bug-free as possible.
My name's Cosmo Isley, and I've convinced most of these people that I actually do sales for Paizo, even though mostly I just hang out and take up space.
Very well. We all actually know Cosmo. All right. The sea spray splashes up over the side of the rail of the risky venture. A boat, proud and noble, out of Magnamar, sailing for Absalom. The four of you have been, I'm going to put hired, asked to accompany this boat, as it is transporting something incredibly precious to Captain Bobra. Captain Bobra is a stern, fierce woman, made all the more fierce by having once been married to you. And for you, this is less of a payment and less of a job than it is a obligation. As part of your settlement, that you would accompany Bobra and her boat to Absalom. And you all stand on the rail as Magnamar slowly fades into the distance. The calm seas splashing up over the rail. And as you all settle in, the deckhands, the Captain Bobra's first mate Chunk, who is a very, very large, rotund dwarf, comes up to all of you and says, "All right, gotta add you to the log. What's your name?" And we'll start over here.
Oh, hello. My name is Pagliacci Hyde, says the small humanoid figure on the shoulder of the mostly white-clad dwarf, whose black and white stripes are very striking, with his white face that is painted almost like the mask of Razmir. And the dwarf smiles and waves, and the little humanoid clown-like thing on his shoulder says, "My name's Pagliacci Hyde, and this is my pet, Dr. Heckle. He was married to the captain."
And wait, but you're the one? All right. And he just kind of marks that down in the logbook and looks over at Captain Bobra, who's up on the aft castle, kind of sailing the ship out, and she looks down at him and just shakes her head. You can see the regret in her eyes, but she continues onward. And First Mate Chunk looks to you and says, yeah, and who are you?"
Oh, I'm not paying attention to him. I'm just staring down directly into the water, the churning, like the dark abyss below the ship, and then he'll just kind of hear me go, "Soon." And then, what?
I need to get you in the log so that I have proper records of who's on the boat.
My bad. Captain Harold. Captain is my first name.
Yeah, we're just going to call you Harold. The captain wouldn't like it if we were calling you Captain.
That's very disrespectful, but it's not my ship, so I understand.
Yeah, all right. And what do you look like?
I am a giant, I have just voluminous pink hair that just kind of whips up almost like a troll doll from, the 1980s.
Great.
And it just sits there and, flows beautifully in the kind of sea spray here. fact I might be getting a little bit matted down, I'll sit there and kind of like flick it back up, and I'll
Oh yeah,
kind
sure.
of go up and smile at him. I look slightly haunted.
Yeah. All right. First mate Chunk, then I hate all of you. And I'm only halfway done. First mate Chunk turns to you and he's like, "Oh, all right then. What's your name?"
My name is Miko Chumnado from the Vaunted Chumnado clan outside of Frito Party. As you see, I am a goblin, and I have spent many, many golds on my teeth, which are very shiny, and my beautiful headdress, which as you see is a shark's jaw, and the skin that has flowed down upon me as my armor. That is my arch nemesis, Steve. We don't talk about Steve.
Don't worry,
So-
I can vouch for them.
So Mako then. All right.
Yes, with a
And
K.
and he you see him write a note that is don't mention Steve. And he looks to you praying to God your name isn't Steve. What and your name?
It's some halfling with looks to be like a glass cup here and a towel. He's just cleaning it out. Oh, hey, how's it going? My name's Poots.
Poots.
Poots, yeah, that's my name.
Hey, yeah, okay. What you got there, Poots?
Oh,
Just cleaning it.
You're cleaning the glass, Gotta keep things clean.
Yeah.
Can't have dirty glasses. I'm a barkeep. They call me Barkeep Poots.
Barkeep Poots. Oh well, okay. Yeah, I mean, we could. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could use some. Are you feeding the? He looks away. All right, yeah. All right. So, you see him go back up to Captain Bobra, and he goes. So, you can overhear this conversation. Captain, and she goes, yes. So is this the group you traveled with before this? She goes, yes. Now, I mean, you always told us stories about your days in the circus, but I didn't really know that it was like, I always thought the circus part was more of a joke.
Oh no, it was very literal.
Oh, very good.
I look just like a shark in the water.
And she goes, yeah. Those were my younger days when I made mistakes. And she's just staring right at you. Yeah.
I don't know what she's inferring.
The only mistakes are the people who cross me when I turn into a were-shark. Just like Steve.
Yeah, Chunk goes below deck. The day rolls on. You are all assigned quarters as special guests of the captain. The three of you are assigned one of the aft bunks where there are 3 hammocks in the room. But as there are only 3 hammocks, one of you has to stay somewhere else. So, Dr. Heckle, you were assigned different quarters directly above the bilge in the deepest part of the boat. And Chunk says, takes you down there after showing them all their room, and their room's very nice. It's got hammocks. There's a chest in the back. There's some tables. There's a handful of books. You have a window that's above the waterline. So obviously, a window below the waterline. It's terrible. And it's very nice. It's well put together. This is a nice boat. The risky venture is a relatively new craft. It's been out at sea for a while, but it's still probably only a year or two old. And after seeing them to their room, you are taken down below to a chamber that is directly above the bilge hatch that sloshes and is filled with mold and mildew, and there is no windows, and there is a cot over in the corner.
I'll have you know that I pay for much better accommodations than this.
Chunk says, yeah, so the captain was very specific that this was your room.
Standard bunny behavior. Not even a surprise. This is why we didn't work out.
Yeah, she mentioned something about talking to yourself too much, but
Who's talking to himself?
yeah,
I'm talking.
yeah, no, I'm sure. And he just kind of signs you the thing, and it goes back. He's like, so, by the way, the captain would like to have dinner now that we're out to sea with all of you later on tonight.
Things for me to chomp. This is great.
Perfect.
I'm ready.
All right. So the day rolls on. Mostly, your job is to stay out of the way. You've been hired to protect the cargo. That's all you were told when you were brought on board. In particular, this is something that Bobra says is something that she needs to take care of. And that it's from the old days, and something that she desperately wants to get rid of. But she's been rather cagey about it, about what exactly it is.
Highly suspect.
It's Summer Glow. I'm out.
The group of you have actually not. The four of you have been traveling together, but you were part of a larger traveling kind of carnival show that made its way all throughout Varisia several years ago. But parts of the group disbanded shortly thereafter. Bobra took her portion of the circus's earnings and left in a huffy storm, vowing never to speak to Dr. Heckle again.
However, how cool we were.
However, as you sit in your cabin, looking at the missive that was delivered to you not 2 weeks ago, asking you for one last favor, your curiosity led you here.
Man, desperation just reeks of it.
I'm used to it.
So,
You are very desperate, now that I think about it.
so
Do you want me to teach you how to bite like a shark?
later on that evening,
I know.
once the sun goes down and the crew kind of settles into more of a natural routine, which takes a little bit, because getting out of port and getting into deeper water, that's when the crew's like really working, and kind of once they're out on open seas and they've got wind in their sails, it kind of settles into a nice even routine. So by the evening, with the waters lapping gently against the boat, it's smooth sailing, heading south. Towards Chelax, where you can cross between Chelax and Rahodum, making the turn to Absalom. That's where the boat is heading. But that's a journey that's going to take you like well over a week. So it's only just begun. Later that night, Chunk comes around and gathers you all and says, well, the captain would like to have dinner with all of you to tell you a little bit about why you're here, and so the food's being prepared if you'd like to make your way up to the captain's mess.
Can we make recommendations or requests for the food?
He's like, Cookie can rustle up a lot of things, but I don't know that we have a lot of is there something in particular you want?
I love fish guts. They're delicious.
Oh, well, yeah, we do have a lot of those.
Reminds me of my grandma's cooking.
We usually use them to kind of chum the water when we're fishing.
Chumming? Just like home.
Oh,
Please.
Well, I'll see what we can do about getting you a bucket. Anybody else?
What do you got to drink?
Well, there's grog, and I believe the captain has some rum stashed away.
You know, the best grog I ever had was on 132nd and Maple back in Magnamar. If they can match that grog, that'll be great.
I don't think it's that great, but I mean, sure. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be, the finest provisions we bought at the dock
right.
before setting out.
All right.
I'll try some of the grog too.
Well, yeah, that'll be served, and
Being a homunculus, I don't actually eat your pitiful human food, but Dr. Heckle, my pet, he only eats the finest veal and fresh vegetables. And fine wine.
he goes,
Fine wine.
the captain has instructed me all about your dinner. No worries.
I'm sure this is going to turn out just fine for Dr. Heckle.
All right. So, you all make your way up to the captain's mess, and upon arriving, you find a long table set out with chairs for all of you. And then at the end of that table, a smaller, lower, like, end table with a tiny bowl of what looks to be like dog food.
Is that for you or me?
And there are little
does it
name
smell
cards
nutty?
in front of each seat. And unsurprisingly, Dr. Heckle, you're down at the small table down at the end. The rest of you have a seat up at the table where, at the head of which, Captain Bobra stands up and says, friends.
Savage.
And Dr. Heckle, please be seated.
Yeah, I don't mind if I do. Thanks a lot for the grub.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it sure has been. I really missed you. You know, it's kind of nice that you brought us on board. Now you're all a captain and whatnot. It's a pretty exciting life you're living, you know.
Well, you know, I've missed some of you rather dearly, and
I think she's talking about me.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say definitely not any of the rest of us.
to be honest, I was hesitant to reach out to any of you, and as this conversation is going on, you're all able to be seated. Food is served. They give you a bucket of chum. They give the rest of you. They're serving up fine salmon fillets that have been roasted. You get dog food. You basically get dog food. It's old.
Oh wait.
Gross meat
Can't
in
tell, but I
sauce.
think this
And I
might
got
have
an
been why they're
18 in
related.
my performance to look like I am absolutely enjoying that. That is the best meal I've ever had.
Yeah.
Minus dog
Wow,
food.
what do you got in that dog food? Doc's loving it.
Yeah.
Poots, you want some dog food too?
I don't know, it looks so good.
Dog food.
Me-
Do, 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 do.
Meanwhile,
tasty.
the ale's being poured, and Bobra, Captain Bobra looks to all of you and says, "So, you're probably wondering why it is that you are here.
What's in the box? Just tell us.
When you say that, she actually looks back over her shoulder to a. I should explain. You're in the captain's mess. This is a larger room that is where the captain takes the meals, and also where there are racks on the walls with sea charts and things like that. So when it's not being used for meals, it's used for planning and that all that sort of stuff. So the room itself is filled with there's a desk in the back and a chair and there's racks of maps on one wall, and there's a bunch of navigational tools like sextants and stuff like that on the other wall. And when you mention what's in the box, she actually kind of looks back at the desk, and then looks back to all of you and
I
says,
lean in anticipation.
Undoubtedly, you remember back in our days in the circus.
Good days, yeah.
Yes. Well, one of the people that we traveled with when I left with Olnara, the fortune teller. You remember her? Elven woman. She was beautiful. She'd had enough, as had I, of many things. And the two of us traveled for quite some time, Olnara and me. And unfortunately, a few months back, I found her in her room, having unfortunately consumed a fair amount of poison and taken her own life. I'm sorry to be the bearer of such bad news, but that was the way of it. As it turns out, she'd been having nightmares for months. Terrible nightmares, waking her up at all points of the night. Now, her gift was always one of, well, a bit of a show. But in the past year or so, it became to be a bit more than that. It was clear that she could see things. The future came to her when she slept. It troubled her very deeply. Well, I put her to rest and proceeded to go through her belongings to see if there was anything in them that might indicate why. Didn't find anything. There was nothing. There was no note. There was no reason. The only thing that was written in her diary on that day was, "I don't want to be here to see it."
How do you know she killed herself and it wasn't someone else?
Well, I honestly don't. But her depression, her mental state, the dreams had been bothering her so deeply that I believe that that it is quite plausible. And that's when I found it. The thing that I must take to Absalom. And I am honestly concerned that it may have something to do with her ailment. I myself have not been having any dreams of any sort, but I am worried that this object that was in her possession troubled her very deeply. It's dangerous.
What did you find?
Yeah, tell us.
She
Dangerous
stands
how?
up and goes back to the desk, and from around her neck, she draws out a silver chain, and on the end of that chain is a small key. And she takes that key and opens up the desk.
So we all just kind of loom.
And from it, she pulls out a small cloth bag. It's like this big. And she brings it back to the table and sits down. And she opens up the bag, and without touching the contents of the bag, or what's inside the bag, she kind of rolls the bag down over what appears to be a simple deck of cards.
Those don't even have teeth. How are they dangerous? I
Like
don't get it.
harrowing cards, or
What kind of cards?
You think she had gambling debts?
No. When I found these, I was suspicious and spoke to a sage in Magnamar about what they might be. He told me that this is a powerful relic of a bygone era. Magic, the types of which this world has never seen. I have no idea how it ended up in Olnara's possession, and I have no desire to keep it in my possession for 1 minute longer than I need to. So I'm taking it to Absalom, where I might give it to the church there. She had connections to the Church of Iomade. And I need to be rid of this thing. Do not touch it. She kind of rolls the bag back up over it.
What you know about the magics? What is that things?
Drawing from this deck shall change the fortune of you and the world itself.
Maybe I'll be a wereshark finally.
No, we won't be drawing any cards from the deck. No, and she kind of takes the deck, puts it back in the bag, takes it back to the desk, puts it back in the desk, locks the desk, puts the key back around her neck.
So why call us then? Can't you just get to Absalom? And I mean, I know a great shop in the Wise Quarter that's great for buying cards.
Yes, absolutely. But Olnara seemed convinced. Her diary seemed convinced that there was someone coming for her deck. At first, I didn't know what it meant. That's what didn't seem ominous when I read through the journal. But she seemed absolutely convinced that someone wanted it, that it was to serve some deeper purpose.
That's bad, right?
And I am worried that even by transporting it, I may be bringing this to fruition, but I have no way of knowing, and I must do something. Taking it to Absalom, where there are some of the most powerful and wise sages in the world, might be a way to be rid of it.
couldn't you just throw it off the side of the boat?
I asked about that. I was informed that such things rarely stay forgotten or lost. This is the more responsible thing, and I would expect many of you to understand responsibility, but not all. That such things are not to be treated lightly.
So so I shouldn't bite it.
No.
Okay, noted.
But again, why call us? I mean,
We're
hate it.
honestly like the worst people for the job.
I
You
think
were-
we're definitely going to help you get it to that church. We're definitely going to do that.
Ulnara trusted you.
No, we all love Oni.
She even almost liked you. And
Wow, no one's ever liked me before.
I'm mostly just impressed.
this is the final mission for our friend.
I
That's
say
why
that we
you're
help.
here. Because if something goes wrong,
It goes wrong for all of us. That's what we always said on the road.
fair.
Yeah. I think we should definitely help her and make sure that we get it to that church. We should definitely do that.
Yeah, I agree. For Ulnara.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
We might
definitely,
be
yeah.
weirdos, but we stick together. We help.
We're definitely going to stick together.
Bobra looks at the homunculus on your shoulder and just stares in disgust. Ugh.
Together.
Whatever sawing you. All right.
I was a part of you. I'm made out of your rib. Why do you... Never mind.
I said I wanted a child. All right, she gets up and leaves.
Well, yeah, two of them, obviously.
Good seeing you, Mom.
She gets up, having finished her meal, and leaves. And the four of you are allowed to finish your dinner before you are escorted back down to your cabin and quarters.
And as soon as she leaves. So yeah, we're going to steal this thing, right? That's totally what's going to happen, right? That's the thing.
I don't know if I want to be touching anything like that.
Well, we're going to give this to Nobi, Iomedae.
That's true. Iomade is. I mean, we should probably keep our. What was that?
That's what I think of Iomedae. Sorry,
I
tiny
don't know.
lips can't...
I mean, Caden always wants us to do good things, and I mean, at the very least, we can get to the Church of Caden when we're in Absalom, and
Yeah,
Hang out
we'll
there.
definitely do that. Let's definitely do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, but if we draw a card, it might make us a sea monster, and Besmara would be happy about that.
Oh, speaking of sea monsters. Yeah, that's a great idea.
See? Sea monster? Sea
I realized I
monster?
said Church of Iomedae. I meant Desna, but my brain farted. So you're actually taking it to the Church of Desna.
Caden loves
just so you know.
Desna.
Even
It really
worse.
does.
Yeah.
I still want a sea monster!
Fair. So, the days roll by. The boat continues its journey south. And for the first couple days, it's very pleasant sailing. But on the third day, the waters begin to get a bit rough.
Soon.
The boat kind of is tossed back and forth for hours. It seems relentless.
Oh, this is awesome.
And all of you who don't have a lot of experience on boats, could you all please give me a fortitude save? Let's just see how the boat being rocked back and forth constantly affects you.
Got a 7.
14.
You got a 7. All right.
24.
24.
I'm a storm order druid that used to be a sailor. Why are you looking at me?
No, all right. You don't have to make this check.
What
That's
happened?
fine.
You rolled a 1, didn't you?
We had pleasant
No.
sailing yesterday.
That's fine. I didn't know your background. You're good on that front. Sorry. 7?
7.
7.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, you're not doing too well. The you're running for the nearest rail with some frequency, having a real hard time keeping
I
anything
gotta be
down.
careful I don't fall through because I'm a halfling.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and you're pretty sickened by it, but keeping it together a little better. And you're fine, no problem at
I'm
all.
great.
Yeah,
I have an iron gut.
yeah, no,
If
it's great.
If you weren't already painted like a mime, I'm pretty sure you'd be very pale right now.
I don't know if you're more nauseated by the motion of the boat or by my annoying goblin songs that I keep singing about sharks.
I can't really.
So
Don't barf on me,
Barf on me, Argentina.
So, after, as the... I hate all of you. All right,
You're welcome.
why did I ever come up with this idea? I don't remember.
Don't hate
All right,
us.
yeah.
Hate the Twitch chat.
Yeah, no,
They're
it's
the
fair.
ones that
No,
use
no,
those
no, no.
characters.
No, they're all great. They did exactly what we asked them to. It's you that are the monsters. Now, in some cases, quite literally. The journey continues, and after 3 days, as I said, this storm sets in, and it seems like it just won't give up. And at the evening of the third day, something changes even more for the worse. This storm is now ravaging this boat. The boat is being tossed back and forth, back and forth. You heard from up above one of the masts has cracked, and the boat itself is now being tossed about in the waves. First mate Chunk comes running below deck to gather all of you together. He's like, gather up your gear, we don't know what's going on, the boat's breaking.
Come on, Steve, let's go.
This is awesome.
Now, dude.
So, you're all given a few moments to gather and put on your gear, right? I mean, you don't normally wear armor and stuff while on a boat, but you've been just told to gather up your stuff, so...
My apron.
Yeah. I see you put on an apron. All right.
My barkeep apron.
Yeah. It occurs to me I don't even know what classes you are. That's fine. I'm sure this will be great. The moment you've gathered yourself together, First Mate Chunk, Dr.
First Mate.
Jesus. Dr. First Mate.
Dr. Chunk.
First Mate Chunk brings you all up to the deck, where the boat is currently kind of at about a 35 degree angle, riding the side of basically a giant whirlpool. Everybody on board is screaming. There are people desperately trying to hold the sails to try and turn the boat out of this. It does not look like they are having much effect. You are all being slid around this boat. The captain, who is up at the wheel, desperately trying to turn out. She's like holding down one end of the wheel and desperately trying to turn it, but it just won't budge as the boat continues to circle this giant whirlpool that appears to have you caught. What do you do?
Go ahead.
I'm laughing psychotically. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Also, we're all going straight to the bottom of the ocean. It's a perfect place.
Yeah, okay. No one on the boat shares your sentiment.
I am just laughing like a goober.
Actually, the rest of you might. I don't know.
Mako is going to run up all the way to the prow of the boat and grab onto one of the sturdy pieces of rigging up there, and he's going to throw his head back and forth to the side and fling his arms out and start shrieking,
Take me into your arms, Bezimara! I want to become one of your chosen sea beasts! Yes!
and he's just rocking back and forth.
The crew is freaking out. What are you doing?
I'm trying to not fall off the boat because I'm already too seasick to even stand, and then the boat is just at an angle, so I'm just basically hanging onto a railing, kind of effectively sideways.
Sure. And Dr. Heckle?
Dr. Heckle's gonna lash himself to a mast. He might actually use real rope.
Oh, as opposed to miming rope? So, all right. Okay, so let's see. What I'm hearing here is we've got a lashing yourself with a rope. That's great. I've got you just trying to hold on. Can you give me an athletics check?
I can try.
I've got you trying to hold on up at the front. Why don't you give me an athletics check?
Hanging over the side of the boat.
And you're just running around Pall Mall having a good time?
I mean, if there's stuff blasting over the sides of the thing, I'm probably holding on to something.
Yeah.
Or probably have tied myself to, like, the central mast.
Sure.
Actually,
you know what? I think it's athletics checks all around.
Okay.
You know, even if you're not very good at it, if you don't have it, you can go ahead and give me a strength check.
I got a 10.
Or roll and add your strength modifier. A 10, okay.
11.
An 11.
9.
A 9.
14.
A 14.
Wow.
All right.
Using that real
So,
quick.
Show off.
you are all being tossed about as this boat is being pulled down further and further into the wall of this whirlpool. The boat does not appear to be pulling out of this, despite the captain's best efforts. The three of you are being literally cast about on the boat. Who got below 10? You did.
Yo.
Yeah, you get thrown overboard.
Can I cast this spell?
What spell are you trying to cast?
Entangle on myself.
Entangle. So entangle, you need grass and stuff for the entangle to have a surface for the vines and stuff to spring out of, if I recall correctly. I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
I mean Tanglefoot.
Tanglefoot.
Yeah, my
okay, not entangle.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, so just
you're gonna try and glue yourself to the ship.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll let you do that. Just as you're flying towards the edge, you cast Tanglefoot on yourself, and you can voluntarily fail that save and just kind of glue yourself to the thing. It's not going to last too long.
Continues to laugh.
Yeah.
You start rolling down like the last wall walker.
I'm going to die. It's making the grossest sound as it just like, ugh.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but ew.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Even the comments is like, nasty.
You nasty.
It's like sliming by.
All right, so you managed
got
to
fish
stop
guts
yourself
covering his
from being
face.
thrown overboard in that instant, but that's not going to hold. This stuff is being washed away by the seawater almost right away.
Well, there went my plan.
But it does hold for a moment. The rest of you are barely managing to hold on. Like your fingernails are scratching against wood as you're being pulled away by the force of the wind and the water blowing overboard. Several crew have already been tossed into the maelstrom.
See you soon.
You can't imagine that they made it. They're being sucked into the ocean. So this boat goes spiraling down, and as it pulls into a tighter and tighter curve, the forces being yanked against all of you become stronger and stronger, and water washes up over the side, and with a thunderous crash, you hear the cracking of timbers, the breaking of planks, and the risky venture gets pulled into the water, and everything goes dark.
Wow, that was a great
That's
adventure.
a good session.
Thanks for playing, everybody. No. So,
Dinner.
yeah, no.
Let's go.
Hey, look at that. You all got to make a skill check and a saving throw. That's great. All right, so you come to in the wreckage of the risky venture. The boat and its remnants are crashed upon a great reef. The air around you is a cascading curtain of blue and azure light. And as you look up to see the source of it, you realize that you are deep beneath the ocean. Yet, the space that you are in is somehow filled with air. You are in some sort of bubble or pocket on the floor of the ocean. The boat has slammed into the water, into the base of the ocean floor, and shattered into a million pieces, fragments all over the place. As you come to, you notice Captain Bobra is currently sifting through wreckage, throwing wood planks over the side. She is desperately trying to dig through the wreckage, looking for something of which you can guess what it is that she is trying to find. Mm-hmm. Each one of you take some damage from this. You're not in perfect health upon landing, and it's going to be 5 points of damage, 6 points of damage, 7 points of damage, and 4 points of damage. And this is from cuts and bruises sustained from the boat being slammed into the bottom of the ocean and shattered into a million pieces. You almost feel kind of lucky that you're not just dead, because there are plenty of people around you who are, in fact, dead. Not every member of the risky venture survived. As a matter of fact, the poor, twisted, broken body of First Mate Chunk is splayed out over the reef nearby. No. Captain Bobra herself looks pretty badly hurt. So, what do you do?
I'm gonna start looking around for that box or the cards.
Okay.
Are we standing on the bottom of the ocean, or are we in like an air bubble that just happens to still be water in it?
So you are on the bottom of the ocean, and whatever this is, it looks like it was created recently. There are fish kind of flopping around on the floor next to you. Not a lot, but some. There are like starfish that are kind of freaking out that they're not in water. And the boat is shattered across this bit of reef. But the ground around you then is just kind of sandy ocean floor. And looking out into the distance, you appear to be in one kind of end of this bubble. The bubble itself kind of extends in one direction. And looking off in that direction, you can see some sort of dark mass that is somewhere off to the, we'll say it's north of you just to have a direction, but that's what you see.
All right. Assuming we come to Caden's bottom. What? Where are we?
Bottom of the ocean.
We're in heaven, and this is
awesome.
Besmar's realm. This is
I know,
great.
right? Yeah, remember that god I keep on being really cryptic about? We might get a chance to meet him.
Any all hurt?
I mean, yeah.
A little bit. I
One second
got a
here.
shark
Give
tooth
me a high
that's stuck
five.
into my head.
Wow,
Yeah,
there's-
totally. Just like embedded right
Yeah.
now.
Part of the shark
Yeah.
jaws. You might want
That I
to.
was wearing like a hat.
Yeah, you might want to pull that out. It's more of a crown
Dr.
right now.
Jekyll has been hurt a little bit too. He twisted his ankle when he came down.
All right. Everyone gather around here really quickly. Let me just go ahead and get everybody. I'm just gonna hold my hands out, just kind of channel this location that we're in here, and just kind of pull some of the natural, just latent energy from the surroundings and channel it into my friends. So,
All right.
3 actions. I'm going to go ahead and cast heal.
Heal. So everybody regains a D8. Go ahead and roll.
Let's find out. It's gonna be a 1 because it's a 4.
Yeah.
That's better than I usually roll.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So you
some HPs.
you draw upon the ocean environment and let out a burst of magical energy and heal everyone for 4.
Pagliacci's wandering around looking for me.
Sure.
Hey, Bobra, what are you doing?
I have to find it. This is the worst.
Shouldn't we be taking care of your crew, find survivors, that sort of thing?
She's like, I have to find it first. I have to find it.
Oh, okay. I think it might be cursed. I think it's an obsession at this point.
Maybe we
should
should
look
stage
around.
another intervention, like, a couple of years back.
I think so.
Yeah, that fateful moment when you told the two of them that their relationship was tearing apart the circus. Everyone remembers it well.
I mean, everyone remembers all of it. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I think maybe Dr. Heckle needs to be away. So come over here. Come with me. We're gonna go look for bad guys, okay?
I'll help check around here really quick while you two go scout the perimeter.
That's right. We look for things to chomp. Let's go. You help.
Perfect.
So Dr. Heckle scoops up Pagliacci and puts him back on the shoulder, and we follow them.
We're gonna go to the edge of the bubble and look for anything that might be causing us trouble or looking to sneak up
We're
on
looking
us.
for cards. Looking for
cards. Sure.
We're looking for the card deck.
So, as you were searching through the wreckage, go ahead and give me a perception check. Anybody who's searching through the wreckage.
16.
16 as well.
12.
23.
Show off.
You find the desk.
Yeah!
It's still locked and closed. I mean, it's broken on one side, but
How
you
big
do
is
find
it?
the desk. It's a desk.
Oh,
Yeah.
desk.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah.
a locked desk. All right.
We'll
Yeah.
fix that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Are you telling
What do you
us
do?
that you found this?
Well, I'm gonna start trying to jimmy the lock open. I've got a clan dagger that I can use to jimmy.
Great. Do you have thievery?
I am untrained in thievery.
Yeah, you start jamming your knife in the lock, but that ain't gonna do it. I mean, you could try and break it, but jamming a dagger in it is not going to fix it.
Did we see if she was still wearing that silver key around her neck?
She looks like she's mostly intact, like she has her clothing, so you would assume the key is still around her neck.
Okay.
I mean, you don't see it because it's beneath her clothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mako is going to notice that Dr. Heckle has found the desk and is
Yeah.
futilely trying to get it open. And he's
Yeah.
going to remember the key that was around Bober's neck and go up to her with a big, wide, flashing white grin with his protruding goblin teeth.
She's currently trying to move a chunk of like planking off of a door so she can open it and look behind it, like in the wreckage.
I'll be helping her in the meantime.
Yeah.
So Mako's gonna try to put her at ease, right? He's very charming.
Yeah, is he?
He's got a charming liar. He's able to convince people.
Wonderful smile.
He is the nicest wereshark that they've ever met on this side of Galarian.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's besides the point.
Yeah. All right.
So he's gonna go up to the captain and, in his most diplomatic voice, like,
Captain Bobra, can I borrow that little key that's around your neck? Just, if you could, you trust us, right? You trust us. We'll help you get back your relic, and we
She
won't
looks
ruin
at. She
things.
turns at you with like wide-eyed, and she's just like, "Did you find the desk?"
Well, you know what? I think that we will. We will if you give it to us.
Give me a deception check.
he doesn't want her to know that they found it, but he
Yeah.
wants to
No,
get it open.
I see what you're trying to do.
Nice.
16.
16. She kind of looks at you and goes, "Where is it? Where did you find it?"
I mean, it could be anywhere. We're just, trying to be preemptive. We're just asking to do you a favor while you
Well,
go
if you
sit
find it,
down.
I'll go open it. I'm not giving up the key.
Is there anyone around me at this point?
If you're talking to her, I'm absolutely right there too.
You're right there?
Yeah, my hair is still just blowing magnificently in the wind.
Hey, Bobra, don't give him the key. You know you can't trust these fellas.
You're supposed to be on our side.
Hey.
Roots.
I don't want no curse falling
She
on me.
looks around and sees Dr. Heckle and is like, What? And she kind of storms over and is like, You rotten, lying, stealing, thieving. Oh, I should have known. Why am I not surprised? And I'm ashamed in you. What were you trying to do?
He was just pointing it out for you. That's what Dr. Heckle was doing. He was just...
Shut up. She looks at the homunculus and is like, just be quiet. God, you're loathsome. And
So am I.
she's like, now I remember
that's a
why
lot of
this was a
knife
mistake. And she gets out the key and opens up the desk and reaches inside and retrieves the bag.
We all lean in.
Which she promptly then opens up a belt pouch at her side, puts it inside, and ties it.
While
tight.
she's doing that, can I just point over and go, "Look, Bismarck!" and try to grab it from her?
Look, Besmara. You're gonna try that trick.
Yep.
You know what?
Surprisingly works
give
more
me,
often than it should.
Give me a deception check.
Okay. All right. That's a 20 total.
She glances in that direction, but that doesn't allow you to steal it. That just distracts her, right? So she's
I just smack
distracted.
it out of her hand.
I go wander off in that direction looking for Besmara.
What?
The Pirate Queen.
So she's sliding it into her belt pouch. So I mean, here's the thing: you could try and slap it out of her hand, but she'll know you did it, right? I mean, it's
No,
not
just
like
run away.
Yeah.
I can swim. I'm a shark.
Oh.
and that's
Rails.
Yeah, no, and then we're going left. All right.
And now Amanda swimming because she thinks she's a shark.
Go ahead and give me a let's see. We're gonna go ahead and call that a thievery check.
Okay.
Natural one.
That's 11.
So you try and slap it away, and she like slides it right into her belt pouch, and it's like, "But get away! What are you? We don't have time for this. This could be what Onara saw. This could be it."
What, you mean that giant limbing black shadow over in the side of the bubble?
And as you say this, you all kind of look and turn that way, and you see the shadow, but there's something else that you see.
Same monster.
There is
Giant squid.
there are some forms marching toward you in the darkness, and it takes you a minute to realize what you're seeing, but the bubble that you're in extends in that direction, so you're looking at the ocean floor, and there's some figures coming at you in darkness. But as they draw close, they get near to where you are, and there's some ambient light here. so that once they're close enough, you can kind of make them out. And what you're seeing are a group of scaly. They're lizard-like. They're not lizard folk. They're not Uruxi. They're scaly, gaunt humanoids. They have pretty nasty-looking spears and blades with them, and they are marching up towards you.
Oh well, they must be also.
They are very.
They are very pale. They have tails. They have kind of ridge crests on their heads, and they're wielding like clubs and javelins.
I got this.
And they come marching up, and alongside them are some, and they have these like on leashes. Are these large crabs? And by large, I mean they're like, the size of a dog. Right, so there's this big. It's very big for a crab, and they are snipping their way up as these things come up. And as they get close, they let them loose, and the crabs come like snipping and clapping their way up toward you. As the creatures, these reptilian creatures, come charging in, hooting and hollering. So at this point in time, I need everyone to roll me perception for initiative.
Look, Harold stuffed a chomp.
Ooh, dear, that's not good.
This is totally fine.
I'm too excited getting ready to think about chomping something.
Right.
Chomp.
I psyched myself out.
I'm gonna go around and collect everyone's initiative. Harold, what do you got?
19. I'm excited.
Yes.
Dr. Heckle, what do you got?
12.
Mako?
9.
Poots?
7.
All right. Well, that's pretty simple. Okay. So the first thing that happens is these reptilian creatures and their crab minions, and I should note there are 3 of the reptilian creatures, and there are also 3 of the crabs. They come running up. Sure. All right, there it is. As the reptilian creatures draw near, there is a horrifying stench that overwhelms you. They smell like rotten lizard meat. And as it draws near, it is nightmarishly gross. They smell really bad, especially for something that's supposedly from deep under the water.
These are the crabs or the lizards?
No, it's the lizards. The lizards
okay.
stink really bad. So can I get everyone to roll me a fortitude save?
Yeah?
Is this a poison fight?
No.
19.
13.
13.
27.
Wow. Whoa.
Whoa.
Well, all right then.
It smells like flowers to you, Dr. Heckle.
Strong blood dwarf.
Okay, so
He's not supposed to stop.
Sorry, what did you have?
For my
For your fort save.
13.
13.
I got
13 as well.
That's a
19.
team.
There was one that was different. That was it. Okay. So the 2 of you, that would be Harold and Mako, are both sickened. You both sickened 1 by this.
Okay.
The stench is pretty overwhelming, and you are both sickened. So they started out about 50 feet away. They spend 2 actions moving up to you. They already have weapons drawn, and the reptiles, the reptilian humanoids, are going to charge up, and they charge up to everyone except Mako. So I have 1 on Harold, 1 on Dr. Heckle, and 1 on Poots.
Hey, what's the deal?
And they immediately come up to you and start swinging these clubs, and they're like clubs with like shark teeth through them that they swing at you.
God, those are aesthetic. Where did you get those?
They don't seem interested in answering your questions, but they do swing. So Dr. Heckle, I have 1 that's swinging at you, but it's going to miss wildly. Its club, it's apparently a little off balance. It steps up on some wreckage, and the wreckage slips and slides, and the club misses entirely. Harold, the 1 comes up and swings at you. Armor class 18.
That'll hit.
All right, the club solidly lands a hit on you. Take 10 points of damage.
Ow.
Ow.
My everything. Oh.
And then
Sharp teeth, I should've
lastly, against Poots, I swing another club at you. Oh no. Oh no. Armor class 27.
Well, that's normally a critical hit,
Yeah.
but I am a lucky guy. And maybe luck is in my favor.
think that
Nope,
lets you
that's
reroll
only
a
when I
saving throw, yeah.
Man, not as lucky as I thought.
So that's going to be a critical hit.
Indeed.
It walks up with this club and literally just brains you with it. The club descends right on your head, slams right into you. Oh my. Take 14 points of damage.
I just collapse.
You
I am
fall
dying.
unconscious.
Oh, no.
Dying
You are dying too because you were
Whoa.
knocked unconscious by a crit. All right.
It's
All
escalated.
right.
Yeah.
And then the crabs go. The crabs come scuttling up to everyone. One goes up toward the captain, and one goes up toward Mako, and one
crab
goes
meats.
up to
Yum.
Dr. Heckle. So the one on Mako walks up and scuttles up and is going to attempt to grab you with its claws.
Okay.
But that is going to miss soundly. That's only a 10. That's
Yep,
going to miss.
that misses.
And then against Dr. Heckle, actually that's probably going to hit an armor class of 22 against
that's
Dr.
a hit.
Heckle. Yeah. Hello, Dr. Heckle.
I'm
Yes,
here.
Yes, gotcha. All right. So it does 3 points of damage to you, and it's trying to grab you, but it's out of action, so it's not going to do that right now. Okay. So that was their actions. Poots is down. Others have pretty bad injuries from these guys. Harold, it is your turn. Poots, I'm going to move you in initiative order to right before the monsters.
Okay.
Which is technically kind of where you were anyway, because you're at the bottom of initiative.
I'm sickened, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start vomiting really quick. I mean, retching. I'm going to
Okay.
start retching.
You're going to spend an action to retch.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
that gives you another
watch it.
fortitude save, but while you're near these guys, it actually is really hard to do so because they smell so bad.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, well then maybe I should just try and get away from them. Yeah, I will go ahead and take a step back so that I can kind of disengage. Then I will pull out a potion, and I will stagger over towards Mako and just kind of thrust it out. And then
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
point at you and just be like, before he goes kaput.
All right, so you draw out a potion.
Yes.
And then move over to Poots. Okay.
Actually, yeah. I'll just move directly to Poots,
Yeah.
who probably has like a giant, like, just chunk of his head kind of.
Yeah, you also have one of these reptilian monsters.
I'm actually going to move behind Mako. And
Oh, sorry, you said Mako.
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay, not Poots. All right. All right. Gotcha. Okay. That was Harold. Dr. Heckle.
All right. I'm gonna grab my bestial elixir. And
Okay.
Drink it.
Oh, boy. All right, so draw an elixir and drink it. This is one you had pre-prepared?
Yes.
All right.
And let's see. And I guess it's time to have a crab dinner.
Yeah, all right.
And I'm going to bite the crab.
Okay, so what does the bestial mutagen turn you into?
It gives me jaws and claws.
Okay.
And a bite attack. And
All right.
And a
So
claw
you
attack.
just turn into some feral
It's like basically.
dwarf beast. All right. Yeah. Okay. Great. And you're gonna try and bite the crab.
Crab dinner.
Okay.
Crab dinner. And I bite armor class 20.
That is going to hit.
Nom 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 nom.
And it tastes like
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
5 points of damage.
All right.
I do believe that is piercing.
Your teeth crack through its carapace. Its kind of gooey insides fill your mouth. It kind of clicks and scuttles, but it is still alive.
As a free action, I swallow what I bit off.
It stares at you in abstract crab horror. All right. All right. Mako.
All right, so I don't have one up adjacent to me, correct?
You have a crab adjacent.
Oh, I have
to
a
you.
crab adjacent
Yes,
to me.
There's
All
a
right.
crab that came up and tried to,
All right,
tried
so-
to give you the claw.
Crab people. All right, so
Tried to
I'm a
give you the
little,
claw.
I'm a little sickened. So I'm going to attempt to throw up my fish guts all over this crab and take an action to do that.
Okay. So
right.
that's you're going to attempt to overcome the second condition.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Go ahead and give me a
So
fortitude
make
save.
another fortitude save. That's a 20 on the fortitude save.
You upchuck your lunch onto the crab, and you are no longer sickened.
Point at the uvula.
But I liked that. I'm gonna try to hit it again.
Right on the
It's
All right.
better the second time around.
No, it does not. But all right.
Bite the normal bite.
Seasoned
it is
crab
a
dinner.
normal bite. Yes. Actually, could I do the sudden charge? That would be two actions to.
If you
Spider?
instead of the crab, you want to move up to something else and attack, or the crab's right in front of you.
I'll just do the crab that's
All
right
right.
in front of me. So I'll do this one attack.
All right.
All right.
I should also note that all of you do have one hero point. That's how session starts. So I'm going to go ahead and hand these out on this side. I'm going to hand them out on this side. Everybody gets one
Cool.
hero point. Remember, you can use a hero point to re-roll any d20 roll that you make, or you could spend all of them that you have remaining to stabilize at 0 hit points. Whenever you would gain the dying condition, even if it's not your turn.
Do we think that throwing up crab guts or fish guts on the crab would put Mako into a shark rage?
I suspect so. Also, if I wasn't sickened already, I definitely am now as I watch this play.
Yeah.
Sharks
More
love crabs.
sickened. Yeah.
All right, so rage and bite him.
Okay,
Yeah.
so upchuck, rage, and then bite.
Yeah.
Great. So you're a barbarian. All right, gotcha. All
I
right.
want my dinner back.
Starting to figure out what everyone is. Okay, so do you have a bite attack from? Is this from
Razor
your,
tooth.
Your okay,
Yes.
great.
Also,
Gotcha.
And while I'm raging, it does D10 plus 6.
Oh my.
Shark bite.
Oh my.
Plus 7 to hit.
Yeah. All right. Oh boy.
Never underestimate the range of the shark.
Very bitey around here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a net one.
That's a one.
You go lunging forward to bite at the crab, but come up a bit short.
Horribly failed dice away from my dice.
Boots. So you are unconscious.
I'm dying.
Yeah, you are dying too. If you roll, so you have two options here. You can go ahead and make the roll, and if you gain dying, you can spend that hero point and prevent your death if you want.
That's a flat check.
It is going to be a flat check. The DC is going to be 12, which means on a 1 or a 2 you die.
I'm gonna throw it out there that the last time this happened, the person died, and I was running to them with a healing potion, and this is playing out very similarly. It's
Don't
terrifying.
do it.
But here's the thing: you can spend the hero point after you when you gain dying. So you can make the roll.
Aha. There we go. I will attempt the roll.
Do it. Oh no.
I will spend all of my.
Did you roll a 1 or a 2?
I got a 5.
A 5.
I just want to
All
not
right.
be dying anymore.
Okay, so you immediately go to 0.
0 hit points.
Or sorry, you lose the dying condition,
Okay.
but you're still at 0 hit points. But you are now stable. You're
Great.
just unconscious.
I don't
all
know,
right.
I'm-
And you
risk
don't
those
even
rolls
gain.
anymore.
You don't even gain the wounded condition.
Ooh.
But until somebody heals you, you're still unconscious. Okay.
Working on it.
The monsters go. The thing that was fighting the reptilian that was fighting Poots leaves Poots and charges Mako.
Okay.
That's one action to get over to you.
Bring it on, stinky
Swings
shark
a giant club at you.
Okay.
Shark bait. Hoo ha ha.
That is going to be a 17.
Oh, that's just gonna hit with a -1 for the rage.
Oh. Ooh, 8 points of damage.
Okay.
And then is going to attempt to hit you with a claw.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
That's okay.
I have 10.
That's let's see, -4. That's going to hit as well.
Okay.
Now that I know your AC, and that's going to be another 7 points of damage.
I'm down to 1 actual hit point plus 2 temporary hit points.
All right, the one that you ran away from, the reptilian that you ran away from, follows you.
Bravely ran away.
Yeah.
Yes.
You moved 1 action away. It moves 1 action to follow you, and it swings a club at you. Oh no.
Oh yes.
27. Is that
Is that a
crit?
critical hit?
Yeah.
I didn't have much HP, and it was fine. It's
Fine. Well, take 20, so
All right.
you go down.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm
Good
assuming
talk.
you go down.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then the last one that is fighting against Dr. Heckle. D19, I'm assuming, is going to hit.
19 is a hit.
Jesus, my dice are just murdering all of you tonight. Take 9 points of damage.
All right.
So again, dinner.
And then last but not least, the crabs that are on each one of you also go.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Armor class 17
Yeah.
from a crab. So the crab snips you for 5 points of damage, so you go unconscious. And then over here, the crab snips at you for... Let me double check.
Good thing this was all
14.
planned, and that this is totally.
No,
actually
it was
transition.
This is what's supposed to happen.
14
We're
plus
supposed
8
to
is
die.
22.
That is a hit.
Okay.
Not a crit.
Okay. Take, let's see, that is just plus 1. So take 3 points of damage.
All right.
That was its first action.
Okay.
With its second action, it grabs you.
All right.
And with its third action, it snips at you again. It's going to miss, though.
All right.
Are you still conscious?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? All right. Well, as it turns out, you are the only one who is.
Haha.
So it is now your turn. The captain is fighting a valiant fight as well, but is now being surrounded by crabs and reptiles that are reptilian humanoids. The stench is overwhelming you. You are surrounded. What do you do?
I eat the crab.
Okay, you try and eat the crab. All right.
I can do jaw attacks even though I'm grabbed, right?
Yes.
Do I have any negatives? It's a ranged attack.
You are flat-footed, and if you take any manipulate actions, you have to make a flat check to see if you can do it. But biting isn't one of those, so you can just attack. Yep.
I hit armor class 15.
15 will just barely miss.
Ah!
You get a hold of its carapace, but you don't manage to find purchase.
Well, I try again.
Yeah. This is the one that you hurt pretty badly last turn. It seems to be taking its vengeance on you. It snipped off a bit of your flesh and fed it into its own mouth.
You can play that game.
It's like it's like an Ouroboros of cannibalism. I don't know what's going on.
I hit armor class 4,
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, that's really good.
and now I'm going to try and hit it. I'm going
All
to
right.
try to bite it again.
Yeah, you're just biting left and right.
Nope.
That one. Wow. Okay.
Not one.
All right. Harold, you are stable. Mako, I
am
need you
not
to make me a
stable.
flat check.
All right, a flat check
Harold?
You
here.
really
He
need
just said that I'm.
Sorry. Poots,
Okay.
you are stable. Harold and Mako, I need you to make flat checks.
Okay, I got a 12 on mine.
12 means that you go from you were dying 1.
I was saying one.
You lose that and are now 0 and unconscious.
Okay.
14.
14, you were dying 2.
Yep.
You are now dying 1. You're getting better.
Yay!
But you're still unconscious. Now the bad guys go. You now have 2 of these reptilian warriors on them. On you, the first one's going to swing, and that's going to be a 15, but you are flat-footed. So what's your AC minus 2?
Is 14.
14. Take another 6 points of damage.
And I'm at 0.
Okay.
Well, good night, everybody.
So, you all regain consciousness sometime later.
Good thing I had my holy symbol on.
You have no idea how long it's been. All that you know is that all of you are in intense pain. You're bound, your hands behind you, in what smells and feels like slimy seaweed. You look down at your wounds, and there is like a gross sort of poultice stuffed in them. It looks like basic attempts were made to make sure that you didn't die. But nothing that I would call a full medicine check designed to heal you of hit points. Each one of you is currently at 1. You are in a cave. And as your vision comes back to you, the only reason you can see is because of these phosphorescent bits of coral that are glowing in the dark, and they are glowing with kind of a pale green light. The chamber that you are in is made of black volcanic stone. You can hear dripping and echoing coming from somewhere in the distance. And the four of you are in this room by yourselves. And one by one, you all kind of regain consciousness and begin squirming against your bonds. The walls are covered in strange spiraling, roping symbols. They're kind of hard to describe. It almost looks like octopus tentacles, kind of, but in large swirling patterns all over the wall in the black stone.
I'll start just giggling to myself a little bit. You'll hear clapping, just like, this is awesome.
Sea monsters! Finally sea monsters!
All of our stuff is gone, right?
It's all been stripped off of you, but you can also see it. It's all over in a heap over in the corner.
Okay.
Like all your stuff is there, but you are bound with seaweed.
Mako, can you chew your way out of this?
I think that I can.
So-
Yeah.
Is Pagliacci bound?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Pagliacci is in a sack. Like one of your belt pouches, Pagliacci's been stuffed inside of a sack.
He's just pounding on the inside
And
of the sack.
you can see it kind of writhing over in the darkness in a wet sack.
Can Mako try to use his teeth to gnaw through these bonds?
Well, you can't reach your own, right?
I can't reach my own.
Well, they're behind you.
Oh,
right?
I see.
Your arms are
my
bound
arms,
behind
okay.
you, and your feet are kind of bound. You're kind of hogtied, so right, your feet are bound, and your hands are bound, and your feet are bound to your hands behind you.
Can I make an athletics check to try to go over to Captain Harold and try to bite at his?
You can. Poots, what are you doing?
I want to cast
Perfect.
a verbal spell
Okay.
called Tentacular Limbs.
Okay. What's that do?
Well, it makes my reach increase to about 20 feet. And I'm hoping that, I'm bound. I can't do somatic components, but if I can just say some, fun, weird eldritch word and then have my reach get over to the other people who are bound.
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, so you speak the words, and as you're doing this, give me an athletics check because you're trying to
actually-
roll around.
It's somatic. My
Oh, all right.
I'm-
No, you can't cast
I
it.
cheated.
Yeah, no, you're bound.
25.
So you're sitting there trying to formulate the symbols and words, but you can't quite make them happen. You can feel your limbs go rubbery a little bit, but then zoom back into space, and you're like, so close. So
Fix that up.
you kind of bounce over and roll over and are now near Harold's bound hands.
Thanks.
So you can begin chewing at the...
I'm just using my unbalanced head as somewhat of a fulcrum to just go hand over feet over to Captain Harold and then just plop down over there beside him.
That's surely the way to find safety.
Totally.
What is escape artist check?
So when you're bound like this, there's a couple different ways that you can break free. There is trying to snap the bonds, which would be an athletics check. There's trying to wiggle out of the bonds, which would be an acrobatics check. And when something's grappling you, you can kind of beat on it to get it to let go of you, which is actually just an unarmed attack roll. You can't really make much of an unarmed attack roll against seaweed, so that's not really going to work. It's going to have to be an acrobatics or athletics check. But you're bound pretty tight, so you're pretty sure this is a very hard check. So you can try and struggle against...
Yeah, as I say, Dr. Heckle and Pagliacci will both try to acrobatics.
Well,
Yeah.
the Pagliacci is in a bag. That's a much different situation. Pagliacci isn't actually bound. Is just in an enclosed space. Yeah. So yeah, you try it. Yeah. So you're over there gnawing. You're trying to wiggle free. You're trying to cast a spell. You're waiting for and trying to wiggle a bit.
I'm trying not to drool on you, and I'm failing really miserably.
When you hear a voice,
Uh-oh.
you hear, And come walking into the room is one of these reptilian creatures, and its stench kind of overwhelms you the moment it walks into the room. And it's like, and it kind of sees you and it's like, you shouldn't do that. Mistress will be very mad if sacrifices escape.
What are we sacrifices to?
Terrible things. They'll probably sacrifice poor Grumby as well. Well,
What's a Grumby?
it comes and it's dumping in a divot in the floor like a pile of just chopped fish. Food, yes, food being given to sacrifices. Make sure that you live. Yes,
Just
for
like my
proper
grandma used to make.
sacrifices.
Mine too.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, you mind untying me? Cause I don't plan on running away. This is very uncomfortable.
No, mistress says you must remain tied. If I untie you, she will kill me.
Oh,
we're going.
well, maybe you can, do you hear that wiggling over there in that bag? Maybe you can just open up that bag. That's not untying us, just open up that bag.
He goes, wiggle. He picks up the bag and kind of hits it on the ground. Stop, wiggle.
Oh no.
Stop, wiggle. No. We all be sacrifices soon.
That was disconcerting.
Grumby doesn't want to be sacrificed.
Hey, wait. Are you Gromby?
Yes, I am Foul Grumby.
Foul, more like friend Gromby, right? Am I right? Well, Gromby, if you don't want to be sacrificed, I think we can help you out here.
No, Mistress is too powerful. She will kill us all.
Mistress has never met Poots and his gang before.
It's true, we're very intimidating. You just
I'm
gotta
a
drop
shark.
us.
Gromby, I promise you, if you untie one of us, or even open up the wiggly bag, we'll try our best to help you out and keep you from being sacrificed.
Mistress has what she wants. It's only a matter of time before she awakens him.
Who is him?
Our foul patron, the mistress brought us down here to worship him, but he sleeps. He must be woken. But that is why the gift was brought to us. The gift. That is what mistress says. The gift was brought to us so that it might grant us the wish needed to waken the master.
I look around, and I'm looking for the X.
She's not here.
God dang it.
Well, the
There's a reason why we got along so well. She's just as evil as I am.
Who is this mistress? What does she look like? Do we know her?
Is she willing to be a sacrifice as well?
No, she will sacrifice us and get all glory in the Dread Lord's name. Ah, yes, that is what she has told us time and again.
That is
well,
reasonable.
Gromby, you ever thought about unionizing?
what is
That means you and your
unionizing?
friends rising up and getting the glory yourself.
You could be the hero here.
You could be. You could be the Dark Lord Gromby. Dark Lord Gromby, we help.
He's like, I do not wish to. Listen, this thing will rise up and cover the world in an endless dark.
Yeah, and
Gromby and his people will benefit from this, but probably not Gromby. Gromby will be consumed, undoubtedly.
So you help us and then you won't
Either
be
way is bad for Gromby.
Gromby, that's very noble of you, thinking about your people more than yourself.
Well, yes, it's very challenging, but Mistress has said that this is what we must do, so Gromby will do.
You don't sound very invested in your god.
Not my god, I serve the Mistress, because if I don't, there is nothing but pain.
Gromby, you ever have no pain in your life?
No, Gromby is
Would you like-
Zolgath. Zolgath life is pain. All Zolgath life is pain.
Okay, well, we're here to offer you a life with no pain, and in fact, some pleasure.
He looks at you, and he's like, Gromby is not interested in your pinkness.
Hey, hands off the merchandise.
Yeah, don't talk about my pink hair like that. I'll fight you.
No, you won't. You're tied up. He kind of
Not for
pokes you.
long.
No, Grumby should serve. Grumby shouldn't let you go. That doesn't sound good. Mistress will be very upset if Grumby lets you go.
Yeah, but you don't know what we're capable of. Now's your one chance at getting in good with us. 'Cause if you don't, we're gonna be bringing in even more pain and torture and horror than you could ever imagine, Grumby. Grumby, if you do not release us, you may soon fear what you have brought upon yourself and your people.
Are you making an intimidation check
Yes,
against
Sounds
Grumby?
like we do that.
I would like to aid in the intimidation check by using my head to again propel myself up to my feet and just going,
Yeah, we'll bite you just like sharks do.
let's see if I aid. I do.
Oh wow, terrifying.
Well, with some aid, it's a 14.
He's like, oh, Grumby is very concerned about this because Mistress has promised that Grumby's death will be swift and, well, painful, but swift, which is not bad. But if I help you, it will probably not be swift, but still be death and painful. So it's a bit of a toss-up here.
Yeah, fair enough, Grumby.
He's like, but are you saying that if I let you go, Grumby maybe would not be sacrificed?
That is what I'm saying, Grumby. You only have a chance to avoid being sacrificed if you let us go.
He kind of...
You can be our friends. You can join our circus, Grumpy. We could really use someone
We'll make
with
sure that
your
all-
talents.
We'll make sure that all of the pain that you know is even greater for other people. You'll be
He's
the
like-
least pain. Everyone else will suffer more than you.
I'll give you a cool shark hat, too.
That does seem better for Grumby.
You can be the one to cause people pain by letting us go first.
What do you
What
say,
is-
Grumby? Come on.
What is circus?
It's like, you ever have a party?
No.
You ever have a big feast and sing and dance
We sometimes eat a lot, but
and enjoy yourself?
yes, but the mistress discourages it.
Yeah, but
I mean, while she was gone, though, she's been gone for many months, so while she was gone, we did celebrate.
you know that feeling you had when you enjoyed yourself at the feast? It's like that, but every day, Grumby.
You see kind of his eyes open. Give me a diplomacy check.
25.
He's like, that does sound nice.
Grumby, you ever
All right,
heard of
all right.
beer?
All right, Grumby will let you free. But you have to make sure that Grumby is not sacrificed. Grumby does not wish to be sacrificed.
Grumby, you have my word, or my name ain't Poots.
Is your name Poots?
My name is Poots.
Oh,
Nice to
all
meet
right.
you,
Yeah,
Grumby.
nice to meet you then. Yes, all right, very good.
You are one of us now, Grumpy, yes.
So, about the ropes.
He like gets out a jagged knife made out of a piece of obsidian and goes around and cuts all your bonds.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, great.
Ah, finally, get me out of that bag!
Grumby looks down and is like, that is gross.
Terrible person!
Yeah,
putting
I
me in a
agree,
bag.
Grumby.
We all agree.
Grumby.
No one's going to question that.
That is gross and terrible. Grumby does not like.
Your face is gross and terrible, Grumpy.
This is true. Mother always said that I am horrible and terrible.
That's why you're one of us now. We're all friends.
So we're gonna kill him now, right?
No!
No, we said we would help stop trying to kill our
Grumby
friends.
is under my protection, starting from now.
To be clear, Grumby stinks to no end. He is,
Right.
his stench is atrocious.
Grumby's under my protection.
Yeah.
And you make sure he gets a bath because he's kind of stinky.
Yeah, we'll work on it after we're out of here. I'm gonna drink one of my.
He's like,
Yeah.
he looks at you and says, Grumby has been told that Grumby's scent is particularly pungent.
We're proud of you, Grumby. We're all proud of you, Grumby.
Something you should be proud of, I guess.
Stinkiest in tribe.
I'm gonna
Wow.
drink my minor potion of healing.
You know, if we acclimate with Garami around, then we'll be fine.
That's right.
Because
That can
nobody
be
else
his
will
act.
smell as bad
He
as
could be
him.
Stench Boy. Mako is
I
Shark
like
Boy.
this plan.
I have consumed this minor potion of healing.
All right, I too will consume a minor potion.
Oh, yes, we should do that. So we should.
Well, do any of you have medicine and can do medicine, or is that not a thing that you guys have?
We do. It just might
Don't
take
really know what your characters are capable of
I do
since
not
I
have
wasn't
any
here for them being made.
I'm a druid. Do you expect me to have that?
Hey, I've got
Wait.
medicine.
You're pretty.
Even trained in it.
Aw, snap, that's a 6.
Gromby, you said your mistress has been gone for many months?
Yes, mistress said she had to go and find the proper offerings. Very long time.
And what do
we
you
were
mean?
here to prepare the door. We had to finish excavating it, had to get the barnacles off.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so that it could
So-
open.
This mistress of yours, was she about this tall, dressed like the captain of a ship, human? Red hair, looked like she was missing a rib?
No, mistress does not look like that. Mistress is a terrifyingly beautiful creature. Not pinky like you. That is gross.
So not a human. Okay.
Criticism accepted.
No. She
As beautiful
she
as
dwells
Miko?
beneath the waves. She is the one who brought us
But
here.
I still think it's the ex.
And you said she's looking for some object to wish for the sacrifice?
Yes. She said that she must get the proper sacrifices and retrieve the object that will allow us to waken our god, that will feast upon all of us and cover the world in waves and darkness.
Which is not what we want.
Yeah, that sounds.
So
awful.
we're
Was
not.
this object some kind of
Wait,
cards?
we're not going to do that?
Well, that's how you die and have pain and misery.
Oh, I just thought we'd sacrifice the mistress instead, and then we would serve the dark overlord.
Yeah, that sounds great.
How about no Dark Overlord? Has anyone thought of that? No Dark Overlord.
Well, we'll figure it out when we find this mistress.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
where are we? We're in some cave where you live?
Yes, powerful magics of this place. Mistress learned how to control them many years ago, and when we came and retrieved you, she had used that magic to bring you down into our realm.
What about this awesome mural over here on the wall? The one with all the tentacles. Is this depicting the dark god?
This is the whole place is covered in his tendrils.
Mwah, this aesthetic is beautiful.
May I attempt an occultism check to see if I recognize the symbology?
Sure, yeah.
Well, that's merely a 9. So
Not really sure.
Well,
Yeah,
while
so
they're
will
all doing their
Besmara.
things, I'm going to use my medicine that I'm trained in to attempt
Alright.
to treat my wounds.
Sure. That's a DC 15 check, because you're only trained. So go ahead and make the check.
7.
7 is not a fumble, so at least you don't do damage to yourself.
All right.
Would you like to treat anyone else's wounds while you've got the time?
I only have 5 hit points. So FYI.
Go all in. I do have a
I also
a
have
scroll of
medicine.
healing as well.
All right.
I will attempt to.
No,
Oh,
So Cosmo cannot be healed again for 1 hour. You cannot attempt medicine on him again for an hour, but you can try everybody once. And if you're willing to wait an hour, you can try on everyone again.
would,
I have 2 minor healing potions too,
I-
so
Can't hurt. I will try it on you.
try it.
Nope.
actually
Nope.
can hurt. That was a 2 plus what?
Plus 4.
That's
So
not a
6.
crit fail.
So I'm going to try and heal you.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
Let's grab the die that's already showing
It's
the
alright,
one
I'm
so
a
we can hurt
goblin.
you.
Yeah.
I got a 14, which is not enough.
One shy. Everyone's trying to heal people, but it's not quite working out.
It's really dark and it's
I'm going to use
bad.
an elixir and
Yeah,
and
who's
brew
the
myself
worst
a-
off of all of us?
Probably this guy.
How many do you have?
Well, I currently have 1, but I'm about to drink one of my own healing elixirs.
Okay.
I have 7 currently. I also have a scroll of heal, so
Okay.
if we need to bust it out, I'm saving it for when someone's on the ground bleeding out, though.
Grambe looks at all of you and says, "You look terrible."
How much do you have? How many do you have?
I healed it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna use one of my potions.
No,
I can take you to the father's milk. It will heal you a little. It
Yeah.
sustains us.
Yeah.
Where does this father's milk come from?
It drips from the stone and we drink it.
Drink it.
That
yeah.
seems like a great
It will
idea.
give you terrible nightmares, but it will heal your body. Only a small price to pay, but you will see visions of the dreaded lord when you next rest.
I don't see any problem with this
This
idea.
sounds
Let's
fantastic. Yeah, let's get going.
So, Grumby takes you out of this chamber, and you're led up into what can only be described as a ruin of some sort. It's really twisting and turning. You're not sure. After only a few minutes, you have no idea where you are, and the thought of getting back to where you were seems impossible. Like at one point in time, he takes you down a corridor that leads to a dead end, and he stops and he goes, "All right, now turn around." And then you turn back around, go back out the way you came because it's a dead end. But when you get back to the intersection, it's different. And he's like, "All right, now go right. Don't think about it too much. It hurts my brain."
This is awesome. Oh my gosh. I want to live here.
I
Mako's
think
just
this will
going
take us
doo-doo,
back.
doo-doo,
And
doo-doo.
eventually he takes you to a chamber where it is a large circular chamber. Once again, everything down here is made of this black basalt carved with these glyphs.
Tentacle
And
glyphs.
yeah, the tentacle glyphs. And in the center of the room, it looks like the stone above is bowing. So it's a round chamber, but the stone itself is bowing down in kind of a circular thing. And down at the very bottom, you can see drip, drip, drip. And that is dripping off this rock, and it's falling into this groove on the floor that spirals all the way out to where you are standing, where there is a tiny cup in a depression. And he's like, You can drink of that. It will heal you, but it will give you terrible dreams.
I grab it and take a shot.
Okay. He's like, you do not need to drink it all. Just a little. Yes. Just a sip will do. Don't drink too much. You will go mad forever.
He's already mad. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Forever.
All right, so
Forever.
I take a sip.
All right. You regain 6 hit points.
All right.
I'll take a sip now.
You regain 7.
Take another
Yeah,
sip.
same.
You go to take another sip, and he's like, "No, I warned you. You will go mad."
All right, maybe later.
He's like, "Well,
madder.
all right."
I will take one as well.
Okay.
This guy
Regain 4.
Okay.
Oh, I'm good, Gromby. Thanks a lot.
I'm good. Yeah, no. Grumby's like, yes, understanding. Grumby used to drink of it all the time. Then Grumby thought of cutting off his own tail, so Grumby stopped drinking it. It drove Grumby to think bad thoughts.
So, Gromby,
But I'm sure you'll all be fine.
it was some of your friends that brought us here. Do you know if they brought anyone else into these caverns? There were other people around.
I did not see you brought in. That was the hunting party with the crabs.
Oh, yeah.
Snipper and Biter and Snipper too.
Also Snipper.
We are not very good at naming crabs.
Lovely fellas. Where do the hunting groups go when they're done?
They have gone down back to the chattel wards, where they are being rewarded with fresh fish.
Nice meal.
Wow. That's
Maybe they have the deck,
The card deck.
or at least maybe the captain's down there. Maybe
The mistress,
Cobra.
the mistress has gone to the door. She is going to attempt to open it immediately. So we should probably either flee or prepare for our deaths.
yeah. We should probably.
Where's this door? Maybe we can go meet the mistress.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
That would be a way to stop us from all being sacrificed. So I mean, if you want to do that, but the mistress will be very angry if
That's
Grumby
fine.
brings you
We'll
that.
fine,
chomp her, right?
I'm okay.
Right, Harold?
We can
Absolutely.
talk with her.
Yeah. We'll have a talk.
I mean, we'll chomp. We won't chomp.
Yeah.
Talk.
We'll pay her a chop. I mean, a talk.
He looks at you. That is gross.
It's
Oh, he will. I won't.
But I mean, if that's what works for you, all right. Grumby will take you. All right, but when you arrive, Grumby is going to say that you forced him to do this just in case you all die. That way, the mistress still rewards Grumby with a swift death.
Yeah, you gotta look out for
little
yourself,
dog.
Gromby. We understand.
Either way, Grumby will end up dead, but at least it will be quick.
Nah, you'll be fine.
I don't believe you, but okay. So you are taken up to you're taken out of this chamber and down a series of corridors. Once again, hard to make heads or tails of where you are.
This place.
But eventually, you come back out into the open. And by the open, I mean you are basically on some giant mountain of black basalt on the bottom of the ocean floor. And there is a bubble of air around it that is allowing you all to breathe. But it's very dark. It's very gloomy down here. The only light you're getting is kind of filtered through the ocean above, and looking up is kind of dizzying because every once in a while you see like a shark swimming in the water above.
Steve, my arch nemesis.
I thought, never mind.
This is only a piece of Steve's back. Steve is still out there. He's waiting. He's watching.
It very well could be Steve.
will
You're
get
not
you
sure. So I don't even want to know. All right. So
Are you sure, Jason?
Yeah, pretty sure. All right. So you are all able to clamber up the stones now, and you're kind of up on the outside, and Grumby is like, oh, it is up above. There is the main amphitheater where the door awaits, to where he slumbers eternally, dreaming. For what is dead cannot die, or something like that. I don't know. The mistress talks about it all the time. She seems super excited about it, but I'm sure it's going to be great.
Me too.
You're taken up to the ridge. And as you crest the ridge and look down into it, you are looking down into basically what looks like kind of like an amphitheater. There are, I wouldn't call them benches, it looks like giant steps going down to the floor. And opposite is a gigantic black gate built into the mountain. It is covered in these symbols, but the symbols kind of swirl up into what looks to be like a giant octopus head, kind of emblazoned onto the door, its tendrils swirling around on the base of the door, and you see down at the base in front of the gate is Captain Bobra.
Called it.
And she is standing before a giant altar, on top of which you can see from here is the deck of cards.
Yep.
And she is calling out to Cthulhu Fatagan, and she is in the middle of chanting, and does not appear to notice your approach.
See, this is why I left her.
Because she was a cultist.
Trying to steal all the glory for yourself. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to summon. No, that'd be no.
So what do you do?
How close are we to her?
You're about 70 feet away.
And this is all open air, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Maika's gonna try to stealth up, and she's up on a dais. Did you say she's up on?
Well, no. So what it is you're looking into an amphitheater, right? So you're up at the edge around the back.
Okay.
You're looking down into the
she's
amphitheater.
down.
She's down at basically where the stage would be, and that's where the door is. The door is the back of the stage. If you think of it like a amphitheater.
Is there anyone else in here?
No, it's just her.
Okay.
Could I cast a spell without it being super obvious to them?
Up here, yes. But the moment you start going down, if you get any closer, it's going to be a lot more dodgy.
Okay, well then.
And about how far away from us is she?
70 feet.
70 feet.
And does it look like she's been doing this chanting for a while and is on the verge of having some results?
Her hands are moving ever closer to the deck as she looks like she's getting ready to draw from the deck.
You can make storms, right?
I can. I can also make you way more awesome. Also, well, I can try to make you awesome. I can't make any promises, but are we ready?
Grumby is like,
spells.
she could do it at any moment. I'm very afraid.
Right.
I fear that my death is upon me. And he starts taking his stuff off, and he's just like, I want to make sure that if it eats me, that it doesn't get indigestion. That way I am digested nicely. So it's taking off its stuff. It's like, I don't want to cause it any sort of stomach ache, because that sounds like an even more miserable death for me.
All right.
I'm gonna cast my tentacular limbs before I go.
Okay, so your limbs just and he's like, oh god, I may have made a mistake.
I will
What?
I'll cast Magic Fang on you, and then I will pull out a scroll, and then I will cast Magic Fang on you.
And Pagliacci's like, okay, buddy. And he reaches down and pulls out one of the bestial elixirs and feeds it to Dr. Heckle.
All right. Great. Yeah, that's all good. Okay.
And then Dr. Harris, go get him, buddy.
So, let's see. You cause an unarmed attack to shine with primal energy. It becomes a +1 striking. So, do you have an unarmed attack naturally, or do you have to get it via spell or elixir?
I have to get it via
Okay.
an elixir.
So you can drink the elixir and then cast the Magic Fang on you because the Magic Fang doesn't have a target until that happens.
Yay.
So when that ends, that'll end as well.
I've got
So this
them.
makes them +1 striking weapons.
Yep.
Oh, good
Yep,
lord.
yep,
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
That gives us...
Our jaws are magnificent.
+1 to hit.
2 die.
and
Yeah, that
extra
means you're going to be rolling 2 dice. All right, so you cast these spells and begin approaching.
Yeah, I think so.
While approaching, I'm going to pull out 2 alchemist fires.
Yeah, you can get out weapons that I'm not worried about. So you begin making your way down, and once you get to within about 50 feet or so, she suddenly catches wind of you, and she starts looking around trying to see what the noise was. And you realize it's Grumby up in the background going, "I am ready for a sacrifice, my mistress. I am terribly sorry I brought these interlopers here. See, I brought the sacrifices. No, really." And she's like, "What?" And at that, I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative.
Okay.
If you said you want to, if you want, you can roll stealth instead if you want to sneak up.
That
but you
sounds
can
great.
also
Yep.
roll your standard perception if you like.
We rolled a 2. Great.
I have a modifier of +4, so I got a 9 on stealth.
I was trying to be stealthy.
My giant pink hair is just still there. It's like,
All
Slowing
right.
you down. You're not aerodynamic enough.
Mako, what do you got?
Mako got a 7.
Oh, great.
Oh, great.
Harold.
I got a 9.
Poots.
6.
Oh no.
Dr. Heckle.
Just guess.
5.
Wait a second. 6, 7, 9, 8.
Hey.
We're in this together, right?
So we all die.
We might all be weirdos, but we die together.
Yeah, it's true.
All right.
Coordinated attack.
So, Bobra turns around, and as she does so, with a look of rage on her face, she says, "You! I knew you'd be here. That's no matter. I'm going to sacrifice you all anyway. That's why I brought you here, you fools!" And as she says that, the illusion that is covering her begins to fade away. She looks like a human for that brief instant, but as the magic drops away from her, you see that in fact she's not human at all. Was she human in the past? Has she been replaced? You're not really quite sure. But what you see before you is a gaunt, nightmarish looking humanoid woman. She's about the same height, but instead of being kind of plump and fit, she's now gaunt. Her hands end in webbed, almost like flippers, but there are claws at the end of them. Her mouth distends into jaws. Her skin is kind of an olive green. Her hair extends out and almost looks like kelp and seaweed. This is obviously some sort of hag creature, and she starts moving through the thing, but she's staying right near the altar. From where she is at, she's going to spend 2 of her actions to gaze at you. So I need you to make me a will save as a intense feeling of your doom creeps into your mind.
Ooh.
That's
Very
a 20.
nice.
It's a natural 20
What's a
on the
total?
die.
So you are frightened 1 by this nonetheless. What that means is throughout your first turn, you will take a penalty of 1 on all your d20 rolls. All of your DCs, including your AC, also take a penalty of 1. At the end of your turn, the frighten will drop from 1 to 0 and it'll go away.
All right.
So that's the first thing she does. The second thing she does is grab the deck from the altar, and she has it in her hand. That's the end of her turn, though, because the gaze was 2 actions. Next up, Harold. You are
That's
about 50 feet away right now.
our sacrifice. I'm going to go ahead and move up 25 feet. I'm going to hit her with a Tempest.
Okay. So
So-
you're calling upon your. This is your focus spell, right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So it's a DC 17 reflex save.
DC 17 reflex save. All right.
How many of those do you get? per day?
Basic reflex.
Okay.
Okay, just checking.
She is going to. Did you say 17?
Yeah.
She's going to make. Not critically make, though.
Well, that's unfortunate, but that would be 3 points of electricity damage then.
3 points.
And that was all 3 actions, so I'll sit there and be like, that. Good luck, everybody.
All right. You throw a tempest at her in the water, and wind and lightning and whatnot slams into her, and she goes, "Fool! I am made of the sea. Your magic has no effect on me." Dr. Heckle, it is your turn.
All right, I'm gonna move up 20 feet and chuck an alchemist fire at her.
I will tell her that is valid criticism.
Okay. You move up 20 feet and chuck an alchemist fire at her. Mm-hmm. So you are still 30 feet away. The alchemist fire, I believe, has a range of what, 20 feet? So you're going to
20.
be at a penalty of 2 on this.
So that's a penalty of 3,
Yep, because you're frightened.
and I rolled a 1.
Okay, so you go flinging it, and because you critically failed, it doesn't land anywhere near her. It doesn't even land in the square next to her. She doesn't even take splash.
All right.
It goes up and hits the door, like, and flames are like writhing up the tendrils now, and the smoke is kind of pouring up it, and in that gloom, being so close to it, it's almost as if it's kind of moving.
right.
That was 2 of your actions.
Yeah, and well, I've got another alchemist fire in my hand, so I might as well throw it.
All right.
So this one's at a minus
This one's going to be at a -8
8.
total.
I'm sure this is going to work out just fine.
Roll high.
Ooh,
Nope.
you're not great.
All right,
All right.
we got no 1 basically.
All right. You go flinging that off, and it misses entirely.
Right.
Mako.
All right, so 50 feet away, did
Yep.
you say that we are? Okay, so Mako is going to be gnashing his teeth back and forth and flinging his head around. He's flying into a rage.
All right.
That's going to be one of his actions.
Yes.
And for his other 2 actions, if she's 50 feet away, he can do sudden charge.
Exactly.
Get up there and then
Yep.
bite up at
Absolutely.
her. So Mako's going to just rush up there and
Gotta roll it.
You transform now, I transform.
so that is 18 to hit her.
18. 1 short. Just barely miss. You go running up and attempt to bite her, but just fall short.
Okay. So that's it.
That would be it.
That's it.
All right. But you've closed the distance. Poots.
I too will be moving in closer, moving 25 feet, and then I start casting a spell, and I kind of point my tentacle at her,
Your
and
big tendril.
and
Yeah.
a darker tendril, kind of made of shadow, bursts forth from it, and
Alright.
she has to attempt a fortitude save.
Ooh, that is almost undoubtedly a fail. Probably not a crit fail though, because her fort is really quite good. But that's only going to be a 13.
That's a failure.
Yeah.
She is going to take a bit, 6 negative damage, and she has 1 persistent bleed.
That's pretty good.
Hey, Bobra, I'll admit, you've seen better days. You're not looking so great right now.
She screams out at you, Bobra. This is never my name. My true name is Grusilda. And I have brought you here to be sacrifices to our dread Lord Cthulhu when he awakens. I shall draw the card from the deck and bring him forth from the depths.
Please, we're going to be the ones to sacrifice you to Cthulhu, obviously.
We can't both be sacrificed to Cthulhu. Somebody has to be sacrificed first, and they get to be his loyal minions, and it's gonna be me. And
We always
That's
have
right. You are
discussions.
going to be sacrificed first.
Grumby is moving forward, and he's like, Mistress, I told you I was going to bring them at the appointed hour, and see, I clearly have. And they broke free on the way here, and now they are trying to fight you, and Grumby is apparently just kind of looking to see which side wins. That's all Grumby does right now.
Opportunist. I appreciate that about
Respect
Gromby.
that, yeah.
However,
The world's going to end and Gromby's going to be left over.
Grusilda now goes.
Grusilda.
The first thing she is going to do is she is going to swipe at Mako with her claws.
Okay,
'Cause you're
Mako's
next to her.
right there, yeah.
Yep. Oh no, that is very good.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Armor class 27.
That is just enough to be a critical success.
Ooh. I did just above minimum damage, so that's going to be 12.
Okay. I've got 5 hit points remaining after that.
Hey, that's how many.
Actually, I've got 7 with a temporary, but...
And as her second action, she's going to swipe at you again, but that's going to definitely come up short. That's 14.
Okay.
And what you going to do with the third action? Where's she at? 9? No, she'll try and swipe at you again.
Okay.
That's fine. No, it's not gonna miss. So she tries to swipe at you a bunch. She only manages to connect once. That third attack didn't go anywhere. And
A giant gout of your blood sprays out and hits her in the eyes.
That's right.
but that is the end of her turn. Harold.
Well, I mean, just because you said you're made out of storms doesn't mean you're actually made out of storms. Clearly, I'm more made out of storms. I'm a storm druid.
I'm the most made out of storms.
I'm going to sit there and get really upset that she's claiming that she is more devoted to Cthulhu than me.
Oh, I see. All right. Yeah, it's going to be a Cthulhu off.
Yeah, oh, exactly. So I'm going to hit her with the exact same spell a second time. And be like,
Tempest.
I am more pious to Cthulhu. You don't deserve this.
I will roll my reflex save. And I'm going to succeed again, so go ahead and do damage.
All right, well then I will,
Let's see, that's a 22.
I will hit her for a laughable 2 points of damage. D12's why.
No, but she bled on her turn, so that's just up there. Let me roll
Well-
the flat check to see if that ended. It did
So
not.
is she now being consumed by a bloody seawater tornado with
Pretty
a
much,
with a
like-
shark in front of her?
Like little static bits just charge. You see some of her kelp just like slightly lifting off of her hair from the static clinging, but that's about it.
Can I hop into the very end of that tempest and just like be spiraling around into a sharknado around her?
You can
I'll die, but I
you
don't
get
care.
splashed with a whole bunch of water, but it fades pretty quickly.
you look over at Harold.
So that was 2 of your actions. You do still have 1 left.
It's true. I will go ahead and move slightly closer
right.
to be about 10 feet away.
About 10 feet away. Okay. You can do that. Dr. Heckle.
I'm going to. Let's see. She's.
You moved, what, 20 feet closer, so you're now 30 feet away.
All right. Well, then I'm going to run up to her and bite her.
Okay, so that takes 2 of your actions
Yep.
to get up to her, and with your third action, you can attempt to bite her. Go right ahead.
Give us a kiss, baby.
Ah,
Oh,
Oh, no.
My dice have left me. Yeah, that is a whopping armor class. Oops, that's part of the action.
We cannot roll to
Like
save our lives.
6.
you happy with that
I don't know
roll?
what you're talking about.
Oh, hey, yeah, we can do the thing. I'll do the thing. That was
All right,
when
yeah,
I die, I die
yeah.
for good.
Yeah.
We're gonna use the other die. Try this.
She looks
again.
at you with snide kind of derision and goes, "You were always an awful kisser."
Well, armor class 15.
Terrible.
Still in-
Pathetic.
Yeah.
She looks at you and goes, "Worthless," just as you were in
Wait.
bed.
No.
Oh, hey, that's too much
Wow, that
information.
was. None of us need to think about that.
Griselda, please. I know you don't like us, but
Please, no more. Don't tell us anymore.
It's
Mako.
just getting awkward. Okay, so I'm right up there. I've only got 5 or 7 with my temporary hit points left, and you know what? I'm just gonna try to bite at her.
All right.
I'm just gonna
Okay, she's flanked
rage at
now.
her.
Yeah, you had enough movement to move into a flank. Yeah, sure.
Cool. So that's gonna be a plus 10 to hit. Out of 14 is not gonna do it.
A 14 is
Nope.
not going to do it. No,
All right.
no. That was your first attack. You attempt to bite her, and
I'm
it
gonna
comes up short. She kind
try
of dodges out of the
again.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, this time I have a plus 5. Is a 17 hit her?
Just barely. You finally manage to get hold of her arm and start gnawing away at it. The moment you get her flesh in your mouth, it tastes like rotten seaweed and kelp. It's gross, like wet water squelches out of her as you bite in, and
delicious.
black blood fills your mouth. Go ahead and roll damage.
Just exactly, I'm sure what you're used to.
Still better than Grandma's secret recipe.
Oh gosh, that's terrible. So that's 10 points of damage, even with the
pretty good.
2d10 from Magic Fang.
All right, you bite into her and gnaw away, but she continues to fight, throwing you off her arm.
Yeah.
You still have 1 more action.
You know what? This is basically just a flat check right now, but I might as well try a third attack.
Sure.
I might roll high. You don't know. Nope.
And no, you didn't.
And
All
I
right.
didn't.
Poots.
All right, I'm gonna get in a bit closer, so I'm within 15 feet of everything
Sure.
going on. And I'm going to cast a spell on Mako.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mako, you can do it. I believe in you, and I'm going to try to soothe you. And you will recover 11 hit points.
That is amazing because I was gonna get knocked down next time.
And also, if it ever comes up, you get a +2 status bonus to your saves against mental effects for a minute.
Nice.
Encouraging words from my friend Mako.
Grumby goes and he says, "Yes, I as I said, I brought them here to the Squelching Shrine, mistress. I have brought them here to be sacrificed. Don't worry, I will help you, mistress." And he pulls out a javelin and throws it, hitting her. And he's like, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry, mistress." And he kind of looks at all of you and he's like, "Wink," even though she can clearly see it. He's like, "Oh, I hope I don't get sacrificed for this."
Wink.
Yeah.
Thank you for keeping your distance, Grumpy. You smell awful. It would have ruined this if we got near us.
He does a pathetic 3 points of damage. No,
That's
I'm
not
sorry.
pathetic.
No, actually, that's 5 points of damage.
Right now, in
We
this
all know
combat
he's a
session,
Grumby.
that's quite a bit.
Grumby-
That's right. I'm
He's like,
calling it
yes, there. So he had to move, draw, and attack. Okay,
hero
so
of
that's
the
Grumpy.
circus, Gromby.
Oh, you
the
missed me, Grumpy.
And
Gromby the
now,
stank boy.
now she goes.
Oh,
She
now
looks
we die.
badly hurt, but she is still up.
Oh, she's gonna kill me before this is out, so it's fine.
Well, first, actually, she's attacking Dr. Heckle.
Oh,
In
good.
particular,
Yeah.
Domestics.
the claw goes flying out. Armor class 27.
Hey, that's a crit.
Boy, buddy.
Ooh.
Pal.
Roll well, take 12.
Hey, that's how many hit points I have.
Hey.
All right. So you go down,
Uh-huh.
and so you go down to dying 2. Good thing you spent that hero point.
Yep.
Hey.
And with her second action, she grabs Pagliacci.
Pagliacci.
She's gonna try to.
His armor class, I believe, is mine, so
Yeah, she just got a 19.
that is a hit.
So she's going to do 12 points of damage to Pagliacci. Or sorry, 9
No.
points of damage to Pagliacci.
He has 5 hit points.
Yeah, she crushes the life out of Pagliacci.
Well, now who's gonna talk for Mr. Heckle or Dr. Heckle?
Oh, no.
And with her third action, just out of spite, she throws the corpse of Pagliacci at you.
At me.
And it's gonna miss. It goes flying over your head. She goes throwing Pagliacci through the air, just kind of chucking him off in the distance.
This is really awkward. Sorry for your loss.
This is really awkward. Sorry for your loss. Harold, it's your turn.
This is getting really uncomfortable, okay?
Mako is very
She's still bleeding.
empathetic.
Yes. She's gonna take 1 point of damage there.
Aha.
Nice. Good call.
And
Gotta take what I can get.
I'm gonna roll the flat check.
She could only have 1 hit
And
point left
oh, actually, the bleeding stopped.
Oh, okay. Oh, very nice for her.
She's holding the cards right now, right?
Yes.
Those are my cards, so I'm going to run up and be like, "Give me those!" and just try to thievery, or do you want athletics for this?
So, because she has it in her hand, it's not a simple matter of just making a thievery check. She's actually actively holding on to it as
Okay.
an object. The way that you would get that out of her hands is to grapple her, move it to a pin, and then you can pry it out of her
Okay,
hands. So,
well, that sounds
that
very
takes some work.
That sounds difficult for a gnome, so instead I'm going to go ahead and take a javelin, and by
Yeah.
javelin I mean I'm going to pull off the small bottle that I have an octopus in, and I'm
Okay.
going to throw it directly at her face.
All right.
So
There are other ways. If you were higher level and had the right feats, like you can start stealing things out of
Oh,
people's
yeah,
hands.
yeah.
But you're first
as
level.
a level 1
Octobomb.
Yeah, exactly.
Octobomb. Octobomb.
So but that's a 2. So I will just kind of like go back
2.
and kind of throw it.
You throw the octobomb backwards. It hits Gromby, or right next to Gromby. He's like, ah! It kind of hops away from it. Whose side am I on? Oh, that's right. I'm probably getting sacrificed.
No, you're fine. I mean, maybe, but what's...
All right, so that was draw and throw. What are you doing with your third action?
Well, with my third action, I will go ahead and I have a shield off to the side, so I'm just gonna be like,
Raise the shield.
Raise your
right?
shield.
just hide my face. The shame.
Mako.
All right, so Mako's still right up there,
Yep.
right? You know what? He's gonna.
No
he's-
longer has the flank, though.
Oh, he no longer has a flank though. You know what? Yeah, he's gonna attack anyway.
All right.
He's gonna try to bite at. Ooh, yeah. So that is 27.
27. If you had the flank, that would have been a crit.
Yeah.
But without the
remembering
flank, it's just a very good hit.
Well, let's see if I
remembering
can.
a +1, right?
Yes, that's with the +1.
If only. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Still very nice. Good job.
Still,
All
very,
right.
very solid hit.
15. So 21 points of damage.
Yikes.
Actually rolled.
Yeah.
Now I chomp you. You are tasty.
21 points of damage.
Yes, sir.
Do it again. Do it again.
You remember that you have to remember.
I will do it
Bowman,
again.
A shark, the first bite is to test. The second bite is when it comes
It's
back
just a
for
little
real.
nibble. It's just
Yeah.
it's a little
So
tasting.
you reach forward and bite her in the neck. Her blood begins pouring down your chest as she collapses to the ground. The deck of cards laying open in her hand. She has perished.
Yay!
Yay!
There is
Right.
a shudder in the mountain. There's a audible rumble, and Grumby goes, "Oh, that's probably bad.
Nah.
We're probably all going to die.
Nah.
I'm pretty sure it was her magic that was keeping this place intact. Do you all know how to swim?
I do.
I have a life vest actually.
Is he dead?
Do I need to roll?
I can
It depends
cast-
whether or not someone's.
I'll cast Soothe on you and
All right, there we go.
Yeah, as soon as
another 8 hit points.
Yay!
Nice.
8 hit points.
Oh, you're up to 8. So.
So you're casting that. You're being soothed and woken up. The two of you are standing there. Well, actually, you're right up next to him.
I'm singing my Goblin Victory song.
Her, yeah, and
yep.
you're a little bit further away, and she is laying there on the ground, her blood covering the deck.
I bit her.
Oh yeah, we should probably.
As he wakes me up,
Yeah.
I'll look around, and I'll pick up
Oh.
my little Pogliotti. Oh no! Give me those cards. I need to make a wish. And I go for the cards.
And we're all in slow motion, like Dr.
I will be like, no, I need that to awaken.
So, you roll up and go grab the deck of cards. I'm gonna let you cut it, and you can draw a card, and we're gonna see what happens. Cause
I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
So I cut first?
yeah, go ahead and cut it.
Those are so fancy.
Yeah. Thank you. I believe Jason Keeley brought in his deck for us to use. Draw that card, please.
It's the Pagliacci card.
Pick something good. Pick something good.
It's upside down.
The moon? Is that what that says?
Moon.
The moon.
You've got to be kidding me.
The full moon! I can become a weird shark! The moon! Yay!
It's true.
What is
You have to let me do it. I'm a weird
Jason? What
shark.
does the moon do?
Yeah. Tell us why you're disappointed in us.
I literally shuffled the deck and had you cut it. Everyone saw this happen.
Yeah.
This was the card she wanted to draw.
Hey.
You are granted 2 wishes. What is your first wish?
Make me a shark. Make me a shark. Make me a shark.
No. We gotta get out of here.
Baby shark, we gotta get out of here.
You can ride on my back when I'm a shark.
I want Pagliacci to live again. I need my voice back.
All right. So your wish is?
I wish that Pagliacci were alive again.
All right. As the words leave your mouth, the tiny little homunculus, whose life had been dashed out of it, it suddenly sputters, coughs, and gets up.
Hooray!
It's a mirror.
Now I get to make the next wish. Good deal.
No,
Hold on.
somebody stop.
No,
Pagliacci didn't get the wishes.
Pagliacci was dead. Pagliacci doesn't get to make the wish. Dr. Heckle does.
What are you gonna do, Dr. Heckle?
Rumble. Some of the water starts splashing.
Get us and Gromby out of here.
You can ride on my back when I'm a shark!
Don't forget to take
Gromby is staring at all of this really wide-eyed like, oh, here we go. I'm about to get sacrificed. I knew it would end this way. At least it'll be quick.
Sitting there staring at the gate.
We
just
gotta
like,
get going.
I've
Send
always,
us back to the circus.
I've always dreamed of being here, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be dreaming of this place for a
What
long
is your
time.
wish?
I wish. I wish that I were teleported to the country that I am the ruler of. I also want
nowhere.
a country to rule.
So nowhere. He wants to go nowhere, and we're all dead.
All right.
Great stream, you guys.
So, suddenly appearing upon his head is a crown of coral. And he is in his undersea kingdom where he is now ruler. He is teleported 10 feet over toward the altar where he now sits. And the water comes crashing down on all of you.
Scream out my god's name.
So, with a thunderous crash, give me that back. With a thunderous crash, the water comes slamming down on all of you. Darkness swirls around you. Everyone give me an athletics check as you desperately try and make your way towards the surface.
I have a flotation device on me, so I'm fine.
You have a what piece of gear did you buy that's labeled as a flotation
They
device?
explicitly said that I should have a flotation device, so I have a life vest on at all times. I will exhale, however, knowing sailing, so that I don't explode on the way up. Fun fact, I'm going to
Sure.
20.
Also 20.
11.
Well,
Can we grab him on the way?
three of you
back up
come
to the surface?
swirling up to the surface. You find yourselves coughing and sputtering on the surface of a storm-tossed sea. You found that you were only, you must have been no more than about 100 or 200 feet underwater. And when the air bubble burst, you were swept up with that, taking you a good chunk of the way, but not all the way up. You had to fight and kick and beat your way up to the surface. Eventually, your poor, desperate friend Poots surfaces as well, but he is unconscious, and you're afraid he might be dying.
Oh, no.
Where's Jambi?
Just as you are there, and the floating wreckage of the risky venture, much of which was wood, comes floating, bobbing up to the surface. Poor foul Gromby is grabbing hold of one of the chunk of desk and comes bobbing up to the surface. And all of you are now in a storm-tossed sea, surrounded by debris.
Don't worry.
Hey, Gromby! Go get the rest of my subjects from down below and have them come up here and bring us a ship.
Gromby looks at you. Get bent! I'm swimming for the surface, and he starts. You can go down and rule it your damn self, and he begins swimming away. You find that you see the shore off in the distance and begin kicking and paddling your way there in the floating remnants of the risky venture. Of your underwater kingdom, alas, you cannot seem to return. For a moment, you think about swimming down to it, but you didn't wish for the ability to breathe. You just wished for a kingdom, and that one was unclaimed now that its ruler had been killed. So you were left swimming back for the shore, and as you approach, you suddenly come to realize, where's the deck? Where did it go? In the bubble and the storm toss and the rush of water of the deck, there is no sign.
I'll sit
And
there.
that is where we are going to end this adventure. I want to thank you all for playing. This has been a huge hoot. I have to admit, this has been an awful lot of fun. We threw this together in no time flat. So I want to say thank you to all of you. All of you who have been watching all day. You helped us make these characters. You helped pick these plot elements. We've put them all together into a story, and now we want to give you a chance to earn a bit of a reward. So, between now and September 3rd, I want you to go out, gather your friends together, make a bunch of characters, throw together some plot elements, and play. You can pick the same piece from the same pieces that we did, or you can invent your own. Either way, go out there. Give Pathfinder Second Edition a try. We just showed you that you can do it within just a few hours. Throw some characters together, invent a story, and roll with it. It's just that simple. Now, I want you to gather those groups together between now and September 3rd. Take a photo of all of you gathered around the table with your Pathfinder Second Edition books and post it up to Twitter with the hashtag 3ActionGameNight. 3 is the number 3, by the way. Don't spell it out. We'll try and keep that hashtag as short as possible. So post it up under 3 Action Game Night, and on the 3rd, post it by noon on the 3rd. That's September 3rd, the day after the Labor Day weekend. Post it up there, and that week we will pick one at random and send you a prize pack. That prize pack will include my handwritten notes. We will throw in my adventure script and throw it in along with a bunch of other goodies from the office. So go out there, give Pathfinder Second Edition a try. We hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching, everybody. We will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.